to Business Talks with your host, Kent Adams. Join Kent now as he sits down with business and community leaders to discuss a wide range of important topics in business. Business Talks is brought to you in part by STCU and O'Brien Logistics. Now, here's Kent.
Well, welcome to Business Talks. Kent Adams here. I hope you're having a good day. And I've invited a friend back who's been on my Pulse program. Can I call you a friend?
I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Tyler Russell. I mean, it came as a surprise to him, okay? Maybe we're not friends.
I'm flattered.
Yeah.
I'm flattered. I really am.
But you've been on my Pulse program several times, and we try to do that about once a month or so to talk about things going on. But I thought, because you really, the BBB, really works for both the consumer and the business side. I mean, you really have a double-edged sword there, if you will, in terms of helping both. Keep the businesses honest and talk about the ethics and so forth. And to the consumer, to help them if they do have a complaint, and that doesn't happen too often, but when they do, and also the nonprofits in terms of where to go, and to know that you're giving to the right nonprofit, because there are a lot of folks out there that will come up with last-minute names that sound like a heart program or a Alzheimer's program, but it's slightly different, and they aren't a 501c3 and so forth. So we're going to talk about that today, but important things first. Something happened yesterday in your family.
It was September the 4th.
Yes.
My daughter had her first birthday.
Yes.
And we actually had her big party this weekend.
Yes.
She ended up having the smash cake.
Okay.
She had no idea what to do with it. She looked at it, and I looked at my wife, and I said, "You know what? We gotta get her to attack this."
Yes.
Would not. She peeling off the side of the
Lord.
cake. So my wife says, "What are you gonna do?" And I said, "Well, here's what we're gonna do." Took her hand, smushed it into the cake, and then she got it on her face, and then her ears, and then her hair, and then all over everywhere. So we got the result we wanted to be able to have. It was
My
great.
mom still has, I think I've got the video now because my mom has passed, the 8mm video of my sister, I think on her first and second birthday, putting the hand in the cake that my mom baked and so forth. And then she pans over a little bit, and my sister, who's 7 years younger, her brother are encouraging her to get messy.
Goodness.
You know who that might be, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I believe we may know him. We may know him.
Well, congratulations, Dad.
Thank you.
On a year and a day. So, yeah, I remember all of that leading up to it and afterwards. And
I was terrified. I had no idea what I was doing. But
your daughter will train you.
Now that she's here, it's absolutely
Isn't that
perfect.
wonderful?
And thank you so much for having me in to talk on Business Talks. Of course, talking all things BBB today as well. And you know, we are here for businesses. We're here for consumers. We have information.
But one of the things I talked about just a second ago, and I want to get to it directly, is the helping with nonprofits and saving people from giving to the wrong organizations.
For sure.
There's a hurricane, I understand, going on. If you watch the 24-hour news, 23 and a half hours is about the hurricane, okay? But am I right to guess that there might be a few fake websites coming up?
You know, you see so many that come up whenever there's a natural disaster that shows
people just take advantage of it.
They do really take advantage. There's a lot of different options, a lot of different varieties of what happens when it's out there. You see those GoFundMe pages out there. You see a lot of crowdsourcing. You see a lot of these websites that pop up all over the place to be able to take people's money, these scammers, and we can call them scammers out there that try to take your money. Now, some of the things you should definitely do: check out our website. It's called give.org. We have a listing of all of our credited and non-accredited charities that are
across the country.
Across the country, anywhere out there. You can read people's experiences, which, you know, you did touch a little bit on reviews, and that's something you definitely want to be able to know about. If you don't do your research, if you don't know what exactly other people's experiences are firsthand, it's really tough to be able to make your own decision whether or not this is a charity you do or do not want to be able to be a part of as well.
And it's really up to us as the consumer, as the potential donor, because we want to help people. We want to help. But there are those very legitimate organizations that we all know about. Just be careful, like the American Red Cross and so forth, that it is truly them, not someone sounding like.
And you see a lot of websites still say that they are soliciting donations to the Red Cross, or they're soliciting donations to frontline people that are out there. If you're going to go and donate to anybody, make sure that you're going directly to that source.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, the scammers, they'll slap together a website very, very quickly that sound a lot like the legitimate websites that are out there.
You can grab logos and everything else these days.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you see, and here's some red flags for people that if they are going to go out there and say, hey, is this a real legitimate website or not? One of the things they can check whether the grammar is right or not.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many times the grammar is completely wrong, or even the slang terminology. You see a lot of the slang terminology that you normally wouldn't use in day-to-day conversation that's written on any of the websites. Also, you'll see those logos like you were just talking about. They'll copy-paste that from one of the search engines and slap it on there, and it doesn't quite look right. It doesn't look clean.
Or affiliated with, or supporting.
Absolutely. And you have no idea, you could have no idea that this is actually something that you would want to be able to go and donate to as well. Also, of course, make sure that you know where the money's going as well. The money that you are donating with whichever charity you decide to be able to donate to, make sure you know where that money is going. How much the administration costs are involved in it, how much is actually getting to the front line, getting to those people that really need those.
Is there a guide to what would be a decent amount in terms of administration? I get asked that every so often.
There really isn't a guide that's out there. It's really the responsibility of the people that want to be able to go and donate to know, and whatever amount that you're willing to donate, know where those, if it's $1, how much of that dollar is going towards.
If it's 50 cents to administration, that might be a red flag.
For whoever's out there, if they're comfortable with that amount because they truly believe, because it could be something that really impacts emotionally, and those scammers go out there as well. They try to impact you very emotionally, try to pull on those heartstrings that are out there, and so of course watch out for that. Also, be very, very careful about donating gifts of clothing or food directly. You never know where that food is going, or how, or if it's even going to get there if you're on the other side of the country.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm thinking of the Red Crosses and the others that help some of these tragedies like we're seeing with the hurricane right now and so forth. Their best use is cash. Dollars that they can go out and buy. They know what is needed in a given community that might be different than what you're thinking in Spokane, Washington. Well,
Yeah, and I've seen it. I've been part of disaster plans and been part of disaster organizations. Where you see those donations come in, and then some of it could go bad. It could not. It doesn't get to the people there, and it just ends up in the landfill.
Or for the organization, if it's clothing. Yeah, it might be nice to have that, but it's not needed right now. So now the organization has to store in their multipurpose room or rent storage. You know what I mean?
And that's a lot of the time not even in consideration. And people open up their hearts, which is absolutely great, and we can't understate that. But they make those donations and they have it all there, and then. Where do you put all this stuff?
Yes.
What do you do? Who is distributing
it? In the meantime, they're trying.
It?
And again, I come back to the Red Cross as kind of the obvious one, and there are other Salvation Armies and others out there that do a very good job. But they're thinking about how do they send people to help relief people and so forth, and you're overloading them with clothing that isn't going to go in the truck or on the airplane that's going to take the crew down there anyway,
Well, yeah, and also understanding crowdfunding. I mean, for a lot of people, crowdfunding is not... they don't understand it, and they're you see the different crowdfunding companies that are out there who really want to be able to raise some money, and the people that are using that, they also want to be able to do the best possible. Knowing where that money goes, knowing how much of it, it's the same situation, but it's a very, very convoluted, it's a very, very difficult way to be able to navigate it. So make sure that you do know and that you do understand where exactly your money's going and how it's going to be used.
While we're talking about consumers and donors and all of that, let's also talk about what else the local, but also the BBB across the country does to help consumers.
Well, we have so much information that's available on our website, we try to let those consumers know as soon as those scams come around. A great example, of course, we do have the Amazon distribution center that just opened it is opening or has opened not too long ago. You see the trends of those employment scams. They show up at that time. They really ride those trends. Kids are coming back to school. What do we end up seeing at that point? We see those scholarship scams. We actually heard a phone recording of one the other day where somebody actually sent it to me and said, "Hey, is this legitimate?" And I went, "Okay, it doesn't seem like it, but if you would like to submit a scam tracker report, definitely come down and definitely do that."
And then someone checks it out.
Absolutely. We have a full investigation department that looks into scams, that looks into businesses and their business practices that we have. They're an amazing team, and they also do such a great, thorough job to make sure that, we let people know about those business practices that are out there.
Unfortunately, when I see you, I often think about all of these, but in the day-to-day lives that we live today and the amount of messages that we constantly get, I forget about what a great resource the BBB is to all of us. Let's do this. Let's take a commercial break. Gonna let our sponsors get their word in, and then let's come back and finish that up, and then talk about how you work with businesses, because it's a two-headed monster here. You're helping the consumer, but you're also helping and keeping track of businesses. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Nikki Butler, and I'm a regional manager for STCU. My lunch buddy is Nicole.
I'm Brandy Schloss. I'm a regional manager at STCU. My lunch buddy is Angelina. She's grown up with me. I've grown up with her. To see her graduate will be a lot of fun.
Brandy and I have been lunch buddies since the girls were in 2nd grade. It's great that STCU provides me with the opportunity to be part of Reach for the Future. We are committed to the children. We're committed to our community. I'm Nikki.
I'm Brandy.
And STCU is here for good.
O'Brien Logistics would like to invite you to try our local and regional transportation services. With Sprinter vans, lift gates, hot shot flatbeds, and expedited services, our people are ready to step in and help with your transportation needs. Our services are 24/7, 365, and we are trained and prepared to handle air cargo and Canadian shipments. Give us a call at 208-305-2311 or visit our website at o'brienlogistics.net. That's OBRIEN logistics.net.
Well, welcome back to Business Talks. Kent Adams here with my friend, and he just found out he's my friend today.
I love it. It's great. I'm so happy. I mean, I don't have a lot of friends, so I'm so happy that I have.
We don't have that kind of time to talk about why you don't.
No, it's a long process. It's a long process.
Even during the commercial break, I was talking about, I forget sometimes, even though I see you often, I forget what a great resource the Better Business Bureau is, and I'm going, I don't use it enough myself in terms of donating to organizations and so forth, but also checking out businesses and so forth. So we talked about the donor thing, and especially with the hurricane that's going on now, but other kinds of things with school and scholarships and so forth. How else do you help the consumer out there?
Well, of course, the consumer has a number of different options. They can, we want to encourage them to go to those business profiles, and they can see quite a bit. They can see the hours of operation that are on those business profile, who the owner is, when they were established, and whether or not they're an accredited business or not, which is very, very
And what does that mean, being an accredited business?
So what that means is that a business is actually qualified through, to be able to be an actual BBB accredited business. They're upholding
meet certain standards.
Our standards of trust, making sure that they're advertising honestly, making sure that all of their licenses are up to date. And each year we go through those same standards of trust to be able to make sure that business who is accredited with the Better Business Bureau is upholding those standards. And of course, you see some businesses that have been accredited for 10, 15. We have some here in Spokane, which I'm so proud to say that we've had accredited businesses for over 60 years with the Better Business Bureau. I mean, the Better Business Bureau has been here in Spokane since, the 1920s, somewhere in there. Better Business Bureau established in 1912.
I remember when it started here. People give me a bad time about
If you do, that would be impressive. I would be very impressed. But with those businesses, what they're able to do is they're able to go and encourage their customers to be able to leave reviews on their business profile. Share that experience. That shared experience is of so much value to those businesses to be able to let the rest of the community know that they're being ethical, that they're doing things that have integrity, and that they are a trustworthy business, which we want people to be able to know about across the board. I go and meet with these accredited businesses, and oh my goodness, the number of stories that they have educated me over the last year to be able to see how amazing Spokane is to live, which it truly is. Businesses here in Spokane, they love doing business right here in Spokane. It's absolutely great.
Well, we've got some great businesses, and we're continuing. You talked about the Amazon and so forth, and those are the big businesses. The heart and soul of our community still really is the small business, the mom or pop shop that might have a couple employees or even 20 employees if they're a small restaurant and so forth, and to think about what they're contributing back to the community. And they want those positive responses as a business on their page and so forth.
whether it's a positive response or not a positive response, as long as there's a response, there's also the complaint component of there as well. We do give the opportunity for those businesses to be able to respond back, to be able to have a resolution that is available for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a process, so that if I have an issue with XYZ business and I come and make a complaint, that you will sit down with the two parties and come together, right?
Absolutely. So that complaint ends up coming in to us, and then what we end up doing is we allow that business to be able to respond. If it gets to the point, we do offer mediation services that are available to be able to come to a resolution. We also ensure that there has actually been a marketplace transaction. I'm very, very proud to say that from Better Business Bureau, that we know that customer and that business has had a marketplace transaction. They can't just walk in and say, I didn't like the face of the person that was sitting in the front there. They are able to come in there, and we make sure that ends up happening. We go through those complaints. We make sure that there is that marketplace transaction, which is the cornerstone of having trust within any business community.
And that trust is important. And I think about the business people I know, and I cannot identify one of them who wouldn't be open to solving a problem if they've created a problem with a customer. Most of them would probably not know that. Maybe it was one of their employees or something. But all the business people I've come across in my 43 years here in Spokane want to solve the problem. And they want a return business. They want a satisfied customer. Now, that's what it really does come down to.
And
Spokane's too small to not do that. Honestly,
agree,
I mean, that really is true.
I agree.
We're a city, yes, but we're still a small town.
And customer experience is king. It really is. Those customers and their experience that they have.
Because if I had a bad experience somewhere, I'm telling people. Aren't I?
For sure. And and that's why we always encourage people to read those reviews that are on everybody's website, because getting that first person, that experience that they're having with each individual business, it matters. Those reviews matter.
I might have to look up some of my friends' businesses and but I'll do a transaction so I can just to give them a bad time. Maybe a few whimsical things here and there. Let's talk about that's for the consumer. Let's talk about for the business side. What is the advantage for we in business to be a member of or being accredited with the Better Business Bureau?
Well, what you want to do is you want to let consumers, you want to let other businesses know that you are a trustworthy business, that you embody integrity, that you embody trust, and that you are.
There goes my chance.
It's very, very important. It's so important. Trust.
It is.
Can't be undersold at any point. Is that trust is? We're in the business of trust, and we like to say that, and we like to let people know, and we want businesses and we want consumers to be able to know. We want them to be able to let everyone know that they're a trustworthy business.
Another very important thing going on that you've been involved in is children's identification, and we see the stories. We see it on Facebook. So-and-so is missing, and so forth. I love the one I saw the other day of a parent taking a picture with their phone of their family and especially their children who might get separated from them at Disneyland or somewhere else. And they actually had a picture that would be of that day, of that child, what that child currently looks like, and what they're wearing. I thought that was a great thing to have, because if we're missing somebody, we go back to sometimes pictures we have on our iPhones or whatever that might be 6 months or a year old, and they have a different haircut, different dress on, if they're you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, I thought, but BBB's doing some other things as well.
Well, so child identity theft, I mean, you can't protect your child's identity, especially their social security number, their credit, things that they have that are going to be of value to them for their entire life.
Yes, it sticks with them forever.
It really does. So a couple of things you can do: make sure that you're holding on to that social security card somewhere safe. That's in your house. You have to do that, because what I didn't realize is that my daughter had a social security number right when she was born. They're like, here it is, and I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that. That is in a lockbox, and it's very,
and I think
safe.
They've only been doing that for a few years.
It hasn't been too long. Also, if you're using the social security number at school, make sure you ask those questions as where it's going to be stored.
Yes.
How is it going to be used, and how is it going to be destroyed after they're no longer a part of it as well.
Right.
Also, make sure that you educate
good
your children about the online world. Make sure that they have those conversations. Take the time to have those conversations, making sure that they are safe in that online world. It is a big, big world. I don't understand it. I don't think anybody understands it entirely, but make sure that you go out there, find the information so that you can have those conversations.
Where do you look for that?
Pick a search engine and go and search on it. Go and find. There's a lot of different, methods that you can.
I know I've seen on Facebook. Here we come back to Facebook with policemen showing a chart of the top 15 scams, if you will, to kids and so forth. Be sure that your child hasn't downloaded the app to X and Y and Z and so forth. So there are things like that we parents and grandparents can check out, right?
Definitely. Make sure that you're using those strong passwords. Make sure that you're shredding your documents that are out there. You also see some warning signs. If your child's identity, especially their social security number, has been compromised, you'll see tickets come in the mail. You'll see loan applications come in the mail. You'll see all of that junk mail that will come into your house, and you got to be on the watch for that. Make sure that you check your credit report with the big 3 credit reporting agencies as well. And if you do think,
and you can do that free,
you can do that absolutely for free. So go and check those out. And it does take time. If you think that the identity has been compromised,
nothing compared to
it does take time to be able to get there. And don't forget that if you have a small one like I do, they're going to want to be able to get a student loan down the road, a car loan down the road, or even go and rent an apartment. If they have bad credit that's been compromised when they're younger, they may have no idea that it's happening until they're an adult.
Wow. Okay. And you talked about the Social Security. My wife and I have probably both received separately, of course, probably 8 to 10 each of the calls the last 2 months about, we're calling from the Social Security office and your number has been compromised. And of course, you're listening to a recording and you can press a button and all that. And
don't press the button.
Don't press the button.
Hang up.
Yes.
Social Security office will not contact you through phone.
I know. It's a good,
and that's a good habit to get into.
It's a good reminder.
Yep.
It really is. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, my
sir.
friend.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you for having me
Good
here.
information, as always.
Thank you.
And what's the BBB website?
So you got a couple of options to be able to find out more information. You go to bbb.org. You could also, of course, if you want to submit a scam, you definitely can do that as well. The more data we have, the better we can do our job.
Yes.
bbb.org/scam tracker.
Right. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching today. Check out the bbb.org. All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Business Talks is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksMedia.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Business Talks is brought to you in part by STCU and O'Brien Logistics. Ask Kent a question, recommend a guest, or hear this program again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com.